All right, we are live here, Smash Mouth Sports. We are excited to have Tyler Greenawalt. Tyler, did we get that right?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Perfect. We got it right. First guess. We're very easy. So, I'm your host, as always, Preston Bailey. With me is Cam Vieira. We are going to get into some Jets talk. So we got about 12, 15 minutes to get Tyler's hot takes on the quarterback offseason. Now, the big thing that everybody's talking about is Sam Darnold, keep Sam Darnold, or draft Zach Wilson. Is that what you're hearing? What is your take on the situation? What is your preference?
So what's interesting is Joe Douglas's offseason so far hasn't really tipped his hand as to which side he's going to go on yet, but I don't see a scenario where they look at Sam Darnold's work and they look at the potential of a rookie quarterback, whether it's Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, and they're like, we're not going to go that way. Especially if you look at the 2022 rookie prospects, not even close to what we have in 2021. So I think Zach Wilson is more likely to move than not. Justin Fields, I think, is on the table depending upon what happens down the stretch. But yeah, I don't think they're going to keep Darnold just based off of that's a gut feeling more than anything. But I just think that's where they have to go.
You've had it as a Jets fan. You've had it with Sam Darnold and the ghosts that he sees. Is that? Let's just get it out there. He sees ghosts, and he doesn't have what it takes to be a franchise quarterback. Is that what you want to say?
No, I'm actually on the side of a lot of pundits out there who believe that it was. I'm going to blame the organization. That's way easier for me to do than to blame the talent. I mean, I don't know what Sam Darnold's going to look like next year, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, whatever his career looks like. I mean, he could end up being like an Alex Smith where he just needs a good coach and a better system. So that could happen. I just think if you're the Jets, you have to move on and you got to try something new. I'm fine with Sam Darnold. If they decide to go with him, I think they made the right moves to potentially keep him, but I don't think that's the way you should go. Okay.
Cam, you want to weigh in on that?
No, I agree. I think they should go quarterback, but I would go Justin Fields over Zach Wilson if I'm the Jets. Now I got to ask you, the hire Robert Saleh. Do you think that was a good hire? I know you guys were tied to Eric Bieniemy, but you wound up going with Robert Saleh instead. Did you like that hire?
Yeah, I was honestly surprised, mostly because I didn't think the Jets would ever land someone like Robert Saleh. I thought they were going to go more offensive minded, especially if they kept Darnold or went Zach Wilson. I think it's a great move. Look at the free agents they've already picked up. Carl Lawson said he came to the Jets because of Robert Saleh. Sheldon Rankin said he came to the Jets because of Robert Saleh. I'm sure Corey Davis was excited to play for a Kyle Shanahan style offense with Mike LaFleur. So I think you can already see what he's brought to the table more so than potentially any of the other head coaching candidates. I don't think the Jets needed an offensive minded coach at the helm. They can get that with offensive coordinator. It didn't work with Adam Gase. I like the move. I think it's paid dividends already. We'll see what happens in 2021, obviously. But so far, I think it's worked out nicely for them.
Now, Tyler, I got to ask you, you brought up Corey Davis. I don't know if you're reading my mind here. He said that they told him that Sam Darnold is going to be throwing to him. That's what they told him versus Fields or Zach Wilson or one of these other guys. What do you take on that? What is your take on that?
I think this is the classic PR move where you get a guy who's in-house. Like, look at Josh Rosen with the Cardinals. Look at Jared Goff with the Rams. They said that he's our guy. He's our guy.
Sure.
And then he wasn't the guy. So, like, for right now, literally, currently, the depth chart has Sam Darnold, QB1. Corey Davis comes in with the idea that Sam Darnold's going to QB1. I honestly don't think the team has potentially even decided who they're going to pick based off of the fact that they haven't gone through the whole evaluation process. So they're probably under the impression that they're going to keep Darnold just based off of the fact that they haven't made a decision yet. So I don't think that Corey Davis probably knows in the back of his mind, it's probably not going to be Darnold. It's probably going to be a rookie. But for now, that's what he has to say. That's what is on the table in front of him. He's not going to speculate on rookies.
You think he's towing the company line a little bit?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Now, I've got to ask you, because Cam loves Justin Fields. Obviously, everybody likes Trevor Lawrence. I'm not enamored with any of these guys after Trevor Lawrence. I think there's a lot of hype. What is your take on Zach? Because every mock draft I've seen, like almost 99% of them,
It's
have
a
Zach
consensus.
Wilson going number 2 to the Jets. Is that a guy that you're just in love with? I mean, considering you almost had Trevor Lawrence, a couple bounces there. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I just, as a Jets fan, to be that close to Trevor Lawrence and then with Zach Wilson,
So I would honestly be fine with either. I agree with you guys. I think Justin Fields is the better overall prospect. I think he has shown far more ability just overall than Zach Wilson, just based off of his tape. Like, I've always been against 1-year wonders in college football, just because you don't have enough game tape to truly evaluate them. I think Zach Wilson is an intriguing prospect based purely off of what he was able to do in 2020 and because of his fit in Mike LaFleur's offense. And I think that's what a lot of people are tying it to. I don't think Justin Fields is necessarily the best fit for that offense, but I do think he is the best talent, and that might be the reason why Zach Wilson might be the pick over Fields. And that could change. It could even change if they decide to trade out of the second overall pick and try and either pick up a guy like Trey Lance, or if Fields slips and they think they can get him later. I think anything is on the table, and I think that's the beauty of the number 2 pick. I'm not necessarily sold on Zach Wilson over Justin Fields. I just wouldn't be surprised if the Jets are, just based off of the offense in place.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Zach Wilson either, and I'm going to say a guy that you're not going to like, but this is the way I look at it. To me, he's Mitchell Trubisky. So Zach Wilson I'm talking about. If you love Mitchell Trubisky, which I don't know why you would, but if you love Mitchell Trubisky, then you love Zach Wilson. He's a 1-year wonder, did not play at a power. BYU, no disrespect, great organization, great everything. We love BYU. They're not a football factory. The best quarterback, yes, you had Steve Young many, many years ago, but in the modern day era, okay, you had Jim McMahon, who was not a great quarterback. He had a couple good years with a good defense, great defense, really, is Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is the best BYU quarterback, and he's basically a running back hybrid gadget. He's a gadget guy. So, I mean, Zach Wilson, to me, he's came out of nowhere. And like you said, I don't like guys that come out of nowhere either. So personally, if it was me, I would try to do everything I could to trade down, get draft picks, load up the roster, get Penei Sewell, 5th, 6th, 7th overall, wherever it is, get an offensive lineman, keep Sam Darnold for one more year, try to win, 7, 8, 9 games, whatever's the best you can. To me, if you draft Trey Lance, you draft Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, a lot of people love Justin Fields. He could be a guy that's dynamic due to his arm and his athleticism. He could bring that jolt. But if I'm a Jets fan, I would be concerned about Zach Wilson. To me, he's slender. He's 6'3", he's like 210. He's very slender.
But if they build that offensive line, does it really matter how small he is?
It's true.
But how are they going to build the offensive line if they don't draft an offensive lineman? I
mean, they have the 23 overall pick. They have the 34 overall pick.
They do.
I could easily see there's a couple of interior offensive linemen that would probably more late first, early second round guys. Wyatt Davis from Ohio State comes to mind. Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma. Those are guys that they could take and kind of fill in. Like Mekhi Becton, he's rock solid. George Fant, serviceable as a tackle. Connor McGovern, I guess serviceable, though I would have preferred they try and get Corey Linsley or someone like that. I don't think you can go into this draft thinking that you're not going to take a quarterback just because you don't necessarily know. Like, every quarterback prospect coming out of college is an unknown, theoretically speaking. Like, everyone thought that Tua was going to be one of the best quarterbacks ever. Got injured. Obviously, that was unfortunate. Isn't as good. Jamarcus Russell is probably like the number one recent one. Even Trubisky, 2nd overall pick, wasn't good. I don't necessarily know if Trubisky is the same as Zach Wilson. I agree with you. They're both 1-year wonders. That's why I would go Fields. I would even try for Trey Lance because I think he's a great fit for Mike LaFleur's offense as well, but you'd have to trade back to get him. So again, if they trade back and get more prospects, keep Darnold, I think it's a good move. I think it'll be fine down the line. I would just worry for the future, and we know Joe Douglas loves to think about the future first.
So let me ask you this: if it's before the season, I said to you, "Hey, you have a chance to draft Trevor Lawrence or whoever the best quarterback is for BYU." If we were having this conversation a year ago, you would say, I definitely do not want the quarterback for BYU. I don't know his name. Yeah. I don't know who he is. But I feel like, and I love your optimism. I love that. I'm not asking you to be pessimistic, but I love the optimism. We got 23, we got 34, 98, 102, 40, all the numbers, which is great. You do have a lot of good draft picks. I'm just saying, in my opinion, if I'm a Jets fan, I know it's good to fantasize about Zach Wilson and Fields and all these guys that could be great, but I've seen it too many years. All these guys, the Bears, when I see you guys, I think of the Bears. Because, and here's what I mean by that. The Bears have struggled for many years, despite all their picks, getting that franchise quarterback. The Jets, unfortunately, has struggled for many years. If I'm the Jets, I'm thinking you got Mekhi Becton. You could draft a Penei Sewell or the next man up, a guy like that, have a power running game, and you can get back into the mix, in my opinion, quicker. Because if Zach Wilson's the wrong guy and he's Mitchell Trubisky 2.0, then you're going to go sliding back into the 3 or 4 years. Do you really feel that the risk is worth the reward at this point? That Zach Wilson, because to me it's Trevor Lawrence, and then to me it's a huge drop off.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right in that regard. My whole thinking with this is, all right, the Jets are not going to be competing for the AFC East. I just don't think they're talented enough yet. So you're either going for 7 wins, 5 wins, 3 wins, depending on what you do. If you keep Sam Darnold, you go offensive line, you're probably trending more towards that 5 to 7. If you get a rookie, you could be on the lower end, but you could also be on the higher end, depending on how the rest of the draft picks go. It's always going to be a toss-up. I think Joe Douglas is definitely risk averse, so I could see him going the route that you're saying and keeping Darnold, building the line the way he loves to, doing it that way. Also just from thinking about it from like a fan perspective, fans have seen Sam Darnold for 3 years now. You have a new coaching staff, basically a almost brand new offense. Why not start fresh and see what you have rather than just try another year of Darnold?
Good points. Now, let me ask you this. Got a couple minutes to go, so let's get you. I want the sense, because you got the pulse of the Jets fan base running through you. Your takeaway on Sam Darnold. So let's not worry about Zach Wilson. Let's not worry about Justin Fields. Let's not worry about if something, who knows, crazy happens the night before the draft to Trevor Lawrence if he has some kind of scandal. Because I don't want to get into it, but we all know Deshaun Watson's problems, and he chose the Jets. That was his first. So I know there's a lot of optimism. You guys are probably ready to throw up as a Jets fan. But when I'm thinking about the Jets with Mekhi Becton and potentially a Penei Sewell, you could have a dominant offensive line and a power running game and just in maul teams. But the take I have with Sam Darnold, I want to hear with Sam Darnold, what is your takeaway? Do you think he can? And I do like that Alex Smith analogy. I think that's pretty brilliant. I haven't heard anybody say it like that he's still young. Isn't he only 23?
Yeah, he's only 23.
So could you see him blossom in, another year or two with an offensive line with Corey Davis and some of the other guys?
I think he's certainly flashed enough potential over the past 3 years in specific plays, specific situations, especially with his style of rushing out of the pocket. He's proven that he can play quarterback in the NFL. I will give him that. I could see him turning his season around in New York with a great offensive line. Look at the Cowboys. They didn't have the quarterback figured out. They built the offensive line. Now Dak's pretty good. Zeke, whatever. So yeah, I could definitely see it that way. I am not 100% anti-Darnold staying with the Jets. I'm just more future thinking. If they keep Darnold and he performs well, then what are they going to do after the season? They have to decide that by May, I think 5th, on his 5th-year option, which would pay him like $18 million.
Which is a bargain at this point, yeah, right?
that's the toss up. If he's good, then you're paying bottom level price for an extra year of him. If he's bad, you're overpaying for someone that is not in your future plans. That's the risk that they run. I don't think they're gonna do the 5th-year option. I think they're gonna do the same thing the Bears did with Trubisky and the Buccaneers did with Jameis, and just see what the final year runs out. If they keep him, that's just my whole issue with keeping Darnold.
Absolutely. Well, Tyler, we appreciate it. You coming on. Like and subscribe to the channel. This will be on YouTube right away. By the way, we're getting a group of writers in the next 30 days. We're doing a mock draft as well. We want to try to get one from every single team. So can we count on you to be our Jets guy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to be a part of it.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, Tyler, thanks again. We appreciate your time.